The program on education is being conducted by Economic Times is extremely good in terms of value proposition that it would provide for. There are very eminent speakers on many of the panels, and I believe at the end of the day, a good policy document for the government to view and for possible implementation would emerge. At least the first session which went on has been quite revealing, and the various people spoke about the education initiatives that are being done and what needs to be done in future for the betterment of education. We have a large country, both rural and urban need to benefit. All education needs to lead to meaningful employment and whether be it self-employment or good enough employment that earns a living. As far as the future of education is concerned, I believe the policies that have come out of the government are extremely good, be it in terms of integrating skills with education, which will give a livelihood for the self-employment that I was talking about, and also getting into a meaningful employment with the skills earned at different certificate levels. The very idea of integrating skills and education is absolutely great and spot on, and I believe in time to come this will be the single most value added proposition or unique selling proposition for this country. The second, I believe, is the introduction of MOOCs and development of an Indian platform like SWAYAM, and integration of ICT into our education system to reach quality education to rural places, and all those places which are unreached today is an excellent idea. And I believe all these initiatives of the new government will go a long way in building a better India and a skilled India, as our honorable Prime Minister says. I believe this education program of Economic Times would lay the ground rules for the vision and the dream of our honorable Prime Minister to be realized. Thank you.
I want to congratulate Economic Times for this initiative, because I see a cross-section of representation right from the policymakers to the hardcore teachers to the educational institute owners. And I think this kind of forum only can generate the new ideas to take the future of learning. I think with the new government in the center, whatever we have seen, whatever initiatives have been announced, I personally is very confident that definitely we are heading in the right direction. The National Knowledge Commission has already provided the base by their 300 recommendations in 27 focus areas, and I think the sincerity with which the new government is approaching this, I think that gives a lot of hope to the whole country. Thank you.
I'm very happy to be involved second year in a row with the Economic Times conference, Future of Learning. It's a fantastic forum for people to come together and discuss. I would like to see the forum going ahead more interactive with actual outcomes at the end of it rather than just discussions, maybe a direct dialogue with the government where we sit together, we frame these policies and discussions, and therefore create absolute recommendations for the government. and do so in a more interactive way. You know, we always talk about walk the talk, and we're all principals and educators in there, and we are constantly talking about how we should just facilitate the learning. So I'd love it if going forward the Economic Times uses this more as a facilitation platform, where they facilitate us coming together, but getting you know, the entire audience more sort of participative, and it being a way more interactive, and therefore the audience going away with a lot more. That's number one.
What do you think of the government's?
So today was an eye-opener for me. I've actually over the period of a week met three new government delegates. One was at was Ashish Shelar at the Pali Hill School, and it was fabulous to hear his insights of how the government is looking at innovation and creativity as a way forward for education. It's the first time I've ever heard somebody, you know, political speak like that. The second was at our Malad Billabong High, where we met with the minister there, and he just completely spoke. We have a ground adjoining the school, and he was so proactive. He sort of said, "I'm coming in 15 days. We'll break a coconut here, because that ground's just sitting there. Nobody in the community, including the school, can use it." And he was very, very proactive, and he called the BMC guys straight away and said, "Coming in 2 weeks, I want to see this ground absolutely cleared up. We're going to break a coconut here, and we're going to start building this into a garden and park for the kids in the community." And the third was today, when I heard our Minister for Education speak. And it's the first time I've heard somebody speak with such emotion, with a very clear foresight as to what the government feels they want to do. There will be a lot of hurdles. I do believe our current government is going to be very proactive in taking off the shackles of the kind of things that bind us towards absolutely innovating and progressing forward. I do know it'll be a painful and a challenging process for the government, but I do believe that this government will actually do it. I see Mr. Modi. He's in my hometown in Australia at the moment, and I just see him walk the talk. He's an inspiration, and I truly believe in his vision for India. He's actually the first Prime Minister who's actually looking at India as a CEO would look at a business, and so I've got great hopes for India.
I'd really like to congratulate Economic Times on pulling this event together. I really do believe that India, as well as most other countries that have a very high aspirational quotient among society at large, need more strong platforms where educators, investors, policymakers, just come in together and discuss the topic and how to elevate the quality of schools and colleges within India. And I think it's very, very positive that somebody like the Economic Times, with this media strength that it brings, has chosen to invest their time and effort in pulling this together. And I really, really do hope to see much more of these in a much larger scale, with a much deeper participation from all the stakeholders involved. So congratulations, ET, and look forward to more of these. We at the World Education Foundation believe that learning and the education industry, while some people debate that term, has long been in a standstill, and the reforms that India has seen since 1991 hasn't really found their way into the education segment per se. We're very positive with the first couple of moves that the government has made now. And it seems to us that democratizing education is pretty high on the agenda. So I think it's going to be very important for the underprivileged in India to have access to quality education, and it's very interesting to see. The government make a couple of moves on that. The second, which we're very excited about, when we talk about Prime Minister Modi's focus on Swachh Bharat, especially in relation to girls in school, There's a lot of data out there which tells us that a lot of parents and girl childs do not get to school largely because of a lack of privacy and safety and sanitation related issues. So I think it's a good first step and a trigger for the larger policymakers to think about education infrastructure as an enabler that encourages parents to take more positive decisions around sending girls to school. So yeah, we are keenly looking at that space and looking at how an improved infrastructure translates to better access, which translates to a more aware and educated society, which is what we should be. So I think the first few months have been a couple of very good pointers to education moving from being very elitist and mainstream to a more democratic and accessible education kind of a model. And yeah, we will be keenly watching this space for the next year or so, and to see how it really pans out. The benefits, of course, are more long-term. I guess it would take a few years, perhaps even decades. But yeah, the first move is really, really important.
The future of education in India is actually, I would say, brilliant, because as a society we have always stood on the foundation of education, and moving forward as the economy moves ahead and the economy grows and the technologies that are used in learning grow as well, I think this is going to be a great future for India, especially in education. इसके बाद so this is the second year we have been part of this ET Edge education initiative. I think this is a great forum for people like me to connect with fellow education entrepreneurs, educators, administrative people, and get a lot of deep perspectives into different areas. So it's a very educational forum, important for networking, and I think we're going to be a part of this every year. Thanks. Good.
So future of learning in India is going to have a big impact on how the relationship is changing between the learner and the taught, teacher and the taught. The future of learning in India will go through a big change, basically in three areas: relationship between teachers and the taught, curriculum and the way it is being assessed today, and technology is going to be playing a big role in that. Correct? Okay. So future of education in India is going to future of learning in India is going through a big change, and basically in three areas: one, the relationship between educators and the taught, second being the assessment, and third being the curriculum itself. And in all these three areas, education is going to play a So in my view, future of learning in India is going through a big change, and so future of learning in India is going through a big change in each of the three areas around relationship between teachers and taught, assessment, and the curriculum itself. And I'm sure the technology is going to play a big role, and that too of enabler in this. So I wanted to congratulate ET Edge in driving this initiative around education, and my suggestion would be to take this from an on-premise version to an online version, so that we can drive a consistent collaboration with these stakeholders and not limit ourselves to some events like these. Thank you and all the best.
So with I think increasing value of education, clearly the future of learning is going to push the whole education system towards better innovation, towards improved delivery, improved assessments, so that parents are able to get a better throughput from the education system. I think the demand that modern industry and modern society is creating on children, the future of learning is going to be increasingly maybe technology driven. At the same time, we'll have to provide opportunities for children to have human interactions, for them to be children and learn the right life skills, the right interaction skills, and the right knowledge required to succeed tomorrow. The ETH initiative on education is a good initiative to bring together all the stakeholders who influence education policy and to bring about discussion around a very disparate set of points of view from higher ed to K-12 to technology to sports. I think clearly it's a good start. Maybe as this grows, maybe there could be more deeper discussions on specific areas and maybe workshops so that there are specific action items that school leaders can take away from here and implement tomorrow.